Welcome back, everyone. Let's learn something. So, what's the main idea of the book of Judges? The primary message behind the book of Judges was that God would not allow sin to go unpunished. As we established in Exodus, Israel was God's people. He was their king. They had begun to forsaken the covenant established at Mount Sinai, so they began to cast aside what their upbringing was. But in Judges, God disciplined them for following other gods, disobeying sacrificial laws, engaging in blatant immorality, and descending into anarchy at times. Yet, because of all that chaos, God still chose to give them a way out because they were His chosen people. He listened to their cries for mercy and raised up leaders to deliver them. So unfortunately, even the godly individuals did not have much success trying to influence the people. And in the book of Judges, it actually reveals that the people kind of wanted a centralized monarchy, and it was led by a very righteous king whom God would choose for His intermediary, kind of like as a middleman. But the book of Judges is a very good read if you can kind of follow along what's going on there, and I highly encourage you to do so. Alright, so for our animal spotlight today, we're going to be talking about a bird many of you love. It's got beautiful bright colors. It's an awesome bird, got a beautiful song. It's called the Northern Cardinal. The males are extremely red, very vibrant red color, and the females are a little bit more of a darker light brown. Now, they're mainly found just here in the south and in the northeast. They do go down into Mexico just a little bit, but they're really not out west in like California or anywhere in Canada for the most part. The cardinals, the red cardinals that you see, or the female versions that you see that are less colored red, they are not migratory birds. They're usually resident year-round. That's why you see them in the winter and the summer. The nest is usually in a thick shrub or bush. They have about 4 eggs on average. Most nesting is from mid-April to August, and they do 2 litters a year, or broods is how they say it. The Northern Cardinal was actually the state bird for 7 years. If you see them out in public, they kind of get the conception that they're red birds. They're actually not named red birds. That's just kind of what the common person calls them, because obviously they're very bright red, especially the males. But they're called the Northern Cardinal, and they are very abundant here in Florida. So on today's financial topic, we're going to be talking about company 401ks. These are great accounts because you're able to contribute part of your income or your salary to this account. And oftentimes, if you're with a good company, they'll match what you put in. Typically, it's only like 4 or 5%, but I have heard as much as like 13 or 14%, which is astronomical. But that's basically just free money. Whatever your company is willing to contribute, that's free money for you. So I highly encourage you, anytime you have a 401k set up, put as much money away into that 401k and have your company match as much as they're willing, because like I said, you'll be rewarded whenever you retire. Now, the cool thing about a 401k is it's what we call like a pre-tax kind of thing. It's not like a Roth, but it's just that you are able to reduce your taxable income so you don't show that you make as much. So if you're around like that tax bracket where you're kind of in between two and you may go over into a different tax bracket where you have to pay more taxes, if you contribute to your 401k, you can kind of bring that down a little bit and avoid some taxes, not all taxes. Anytime you pull your money out of your 401k account, you're going to be taxed. But typically people don't pull it out until in retirement, which is what it's intended to do. But nonetheless, 401ks are awesome, especially if you work with a really good company, and I highly encourage you to take the most and get the most benefit out of your 401ks. So on today's History Spotlight, we're going to be talking about the rise of Alexander. Now, the kingdom at this time of Macedonia was north of Greece. King Philip brought the Greek philosopher Aristotle there to tutor his son Alexander the Great. He taught him in Greek literature, philosophy. He united Macedonia and he conquered the Greek city-states, brought bribes and treats. Philip actually gained control of Greece, but was assassinated before he could rule his empire. Alexander took over at the age of 20, invading the Persian Empire and continuing to fight in India. After 11 years, Alexander had conquered Persia, Egypt, and the land beyond the Idris River. But in 323, Alexander had died of a fever. Probably not the way you thought Alexander the Great would have died, but in the end, no matter what you do, you cannot run death. And our inspiring quote of today is from Michael Jordan. Some people want it to happen. Some wish it would happen. Others make it happen. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you learned something. Have a good one.